Welcome to a nuanced exploration of cancel culture, generation shifts, and the diverse perspectives that shape our world. Today, we delve into the complexities surrounding the Christian community, evolving societal norms, and the ongoing conversation involving individuals like Andrew Tate.
How do we take a stand against cancel culture? And I suggested, since we were mostly all in show business, that we start an award show to honor the brave people who have fought back. The president of my alma mater, Cornell University, Martha Pollack. This month, students there demanded trigger warnings before all the lectures. She just said, no, college is for introducing you to new ideas. Trader Joe's, who for years have been selling a line of ethnically themed products. One teenager on Twitter heard the word Jose and said it was racist. They said, you oversensitive little.
Number of people who are fighting against cancel culture. Some of them are not screaming it from the rooftops. Some of them are doing it in a quiet way. I want to mention Justin Bieber. And on there was a song called Afraid to Say. And I want to just read quickly some of the lyrics. It was all about cancel culture. Some of the lyrics are, what have we done with society when everybody's getting canceled? And can't there be room for maturity? Because writing them off is not the answer. We can't write people off. God never writes us off, even in our darkest days, even when we least deserve it.
You didn't want to. One of the biggest cancelings was the past 2 years with COVID, and they wiped people off of not just social media, they silenced them. Banks were taking away their ability to make a living. Joe Rogan was one of the big ones there. Doctors that appear on Fox all the time, like Dr. Aaron Kheriaty, he lost his job. I mean, he was working for a big hospital, I believe. They let him go. So some of the COVID heroes, I keep them in a little file on Twitter, and I keep following them. And of course, there was that, I don't even...
Those of you who don't know who I am, that's homophobia.
To do as comedians in our 50s, just make little adjustments. Things that we think are tremendously funny, we'll run it by our kids. And the kids say, I know why your generation think that's funny, but we don't.
Of course, what people find funny changes over time.
Back in the 80s, the term woke hadn't even been invented, yet some of the same notions lay at the heart of alternative comedy, with politically aware comedians leading the charge against racist and sexist humour. So is the very idea that modern comedians are having their free speech stifled actually a bit flawed?
Sam Nicoresti, with his spoof show about being no-platformed, believes debates around free speech shouldn't be dismissed.
I think when there's an intention of hate behind it, which there are with some people, that hate is an energy and it can ripple out. And I think it can have real-world knock-on effects in an uptick of violence and hatred and intolerance towards marginalised people and communities.
For comedians at the fringe, it always has and always will be about balancing on the edge of what's appropriate. Katie Spencer, Sky News in Edinburgh.
Cancel culture, a phenomenon where individuals face public backlash for perceived offenses, is a hot topic in today's world. In this age of information, social media has become a powerful tool for amplifying voices and opinions, sometimes leading to the swift condemnation of individuals or groups.
Yeah, so here's what we have observed for the last almost 60 years. We've observed a community that felt discriminated against, wanting their rights. And they said, you know, we just want our rights. We don't want to change anything you're doing. We don't want to change society. We don't want to teach your kids. We just want to feel freedom. Okay, so the laws changed. They got their freedom. But it didn't just stop there. Now they wanted to project their teachings and their lifestyle on kids. Now every other child, whether they're religious or not, is forced to embrace and be indoctrinated and taught things that they don't believe in. And on top of that, now our tax dollars are being used to transition people from young ages. Not only that, but to give hormone pills, and it's affecting everybody. And on top of that, based upon all statistics from every country, disease has spread in greater degrees from this particular community that has practiced this lifestyle because of the sexual nature, the practices that they use, which is just naturally more, especially with the men, is a little more, opens up the door for more disease. So this has affected society. On top of that, it has now gone into the movies where innocent kids are now sexualized, taught in books, in Disney. Hold on. sexualized in ways that now they can't even read a kid's book, they can't watch a movie. Now everybody has a choice of what movies, but it's indented everywhere. And not only that, but it's paraded around the streets. It's in every institution. Now I'm not even allowed to believe what I believe about it without being called a homophobe. On top of it, the very fact that you came and you were offended by the projection of my views, not necessarily you, maybe your friend, but you were offended by the projection of my views, shows you that my views are being silenced or being censored, or you're desiring deep inside for my views not to be here. Meanwhile, your views are entitled to be projected and broadcasted everywhere. So here's the thing. God's views have been projected from the beginning of time, but now you want your views to be projected either on an equal or greater level than God's views, and that's where the challenge is. So what I'm saying is normal. It's normal that a male is for a female. It is normal that two people procreate. It is normal that the male sexual organ goes into the female. This is normality. Anything beyond this is abnormal. Now, everybody's entitled to do what is abnormal, but when you project abnormality in community, it creates confusion in the younger generation. Just like I'll let you finish. I'll let you go. Just I'm done with this. It's just like a person that wants to smoke weed or to smoke tobacco. Now, the smoke obviously affects people if you're in a nearby thing, but the example that young kids see makes them want to indulge in the very thing and look into it, and that creates a bad example. So this is the problem of why it affects everybody else, and it does. It's affecting, and now Christians like myself, people that want to read the Bible, we're being canceled and censored. That's why there's an uproar. There's a feeling that something needs to be changed. And it's not that we hate anybody. I don't hate you because of your choices. Rather, I'd rather point you to a place that your choices are more in line with who you were made to be. And that's all I'm saying. God loves you so much, and I see you have a Jewish.
The Christian community. Generational differences also play a role. The younger generation, often associated with Generation Z, tends to be more vocal about supporting causes like sex education and LGBTQ+ rights, while there is much worse going on in the world today.
I am somehow public enemy number one, and I should be banned from schools. And my question is, what are you actually going to do about the fact that the streets of the UK basically run with blood permanently? I teach stoicism, self-accountability. I teach men how to be disciplined, to work hard, to be diligent. I teach men how to be successful in this ultra-competitive world. And the things I teach, the attributes which young men learn from me, are the exact attributes which will prevent somebody doing the absolutely heinous and very emotional act of committing murder. Stoic people don't often murder in a fit of rage. And we now live in a society, especially in the West, especially in the UK, where we're telling young boys, act how you feel. You should act how you feel and show more feelings. Well, that means they'll show sadness and sometimes they'll cry. It also means they'll show anger, which is why they're all stabbing each other. Because we no longer teach the things we used to teach. Why, when we taught boys to be stoic, did we not have this problem? So we're teaching the wrong things and we're vilifying the wrong people because they're vilifying me. The British government hates me and they banned me from schools because I'm somehow dangerous, when I'm literally the solution to the problem. They talk about they need a minister for men. Sure, I'll be a minister for men and I'll fix everything.
You need men to protect you, and you need men who are brave, who are stoic, who understand they have duty and honor. That is exactly what is wrong with modern society, especially London. Who else was on that fucking bus? A bunch of boys. Because if a man was there, he would have stopped it. A bunch of children and boys and scared, cucked men. A bunch of liberal, left-wing losers. That's why London's failing in real time. Watched a 15-year-old girl get stabbed to death and didn't even do anything about it.
You have a city which is losing, which London is losing in all metrics across its competitive cities around the world, and you're in charge of it. By extension, you're a loser. I will tell you right now, instead of virtue signaling and giving Qatar a hard time over their religious beliefs, deep in the desert, and if you're caught with a knife or robbing someone, you can go do 25 years with one meal a day in the scorching sun. And then what we'll do is we'll put cameras there and we'll interview you once a week and broadcast that out to the nation and see if you change your mind and make people understand that this is a country that should be respected and our laws should be respected. Instead, what happens? What has Sadiq or any of the people in charge of this country actually done to fix any of our issues besides sit around and talk?
Sitting there thinking, how do we fix this? So I made a video about knife crime 5 years ago. I made it very clear how I would fix the problem. I made it very clear that they would be hung.
6-7 years in jail, the last 3 years you're out, you're already 18, you're out by the time you're 25, running around again. Fucking that guy's gone forever, that family's ruined forever, and you're running around with a fucking knife thinking you're Rambo. I would fix this shit instantly. There would be the fucking corpses of these fuckers hanging from the bridge, and I guarantee after the first 4 or 5 are hung, after the first 4 or 5 have cried their eyes out on TV, the rest of these little pussies will think twice.
And then, some clowns have come along, because there's always clowns in the world, and started talking to me about human rights and how the UK would not hang anyone from Tower Bridge anymore because it violates human rights. What about the human rights of the people they stabbed? What about the human rights of the families who lost members because of some feral idiot?
Now, let's turn our attention to Andrew Tate, a controversial figure known for his outspoken views on certain societal issues. Tate argues for a return to traditional values, promoting what he sees as a strong and respectful men.
What do you say to young men who come to you for advice, who feel lost, who don't really know where they fit into society?
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you. You're only going to be cared about based on how useful you are. You have the chance to build yourself up and become a superhero if you're prepared to do the hard work and be indefatigable enough to never quit. But if you're going to stand around and wait for a handout, nobody's going to ever respect you. And I think that a lot of people have forgotten about how difficult and how competitive it is as a man. We're always in constant competition with each other. And it's your duty as a man to stand up and say, I want to be as important and strong and good-hearted and God-fearing as possible. And I need to work hard to achieve those things. People who talk about toxic masculinity and how bad it is for men to be traditionally masculine. A traditionally masculine man does things he doesn't feel like doing because it is his duty to do them. He charges into the building because it is his duty. Not because he feels like it, because it is his duty. We're now teaching the new generation of men that they don't have duty and they can just act on their feelings and act how they feel, and they don't have to act as a man should. Do you know what happens when you get men who just act how they feel? You get school shooters, you get violence, you get rapists. Men who do not control their emotions are dangerous. If you find a man who is stoic, he's not going to hurt people. He's going to sit and think about his actions very carefully, and he's going to be a good man who protects and provides for his family. You find a man who just acts out on impulse and does whatever he feels like, you're going to find a dangerous man. Sitting here telling men to cry more and act with their feelings and it's okay to feel this way, that way, etc., and have no self-control. That is why we have the problems we have in the world. Absolutely not wrong. So when they talk about toxic masculinity, they have it completely inversed on its head, completely not wrong. We need to be teaching stoicism. We need to be teaching young men to understand that the world is very, very difficult. It's hard to be a man. You're going to feel bad sometimes. You just suck it up and perform anyway. Not to sit there, you're crying.
Within Christianity, discussions on sexuality and gender roles are ongoing.
So now we got feminists starting to realize, wait a second, this transgender thing is going against womanhood. The feminists have been, God bless you. The feminists have been standing up for women and saying transgender things is not right. You shouldn't put a man into a woman's sport. It's against women. It's against women. And it wasn't the Christian that said that. So this is the reality. The truth always surfaces. The truth always comes out. And if it's not going to come out from the Christian, it'll come out from the feminist. If it won't come out from the feminist, even the homosexuals struggle sometimes with transgender. Do you know that? Do you know there's a wrestle within the LGBT community over the transgender people? They wrestle with the transgender because it's kind of messing around with their message. No, it's messing around with the message because they want you to believe that this lifestyle is how things were intended to be. But God said something different. God said he made them male and he made them female, and the two shall become one. And this is not a hateful thing. This is a reality thing. This is why the gospel is preached. The gospel is preached so that people would find their true identity. Amen. Your true identity, your true purpose, your true meaning of life.
Some argue for a more inclusive approach, embracing diversity, while others hold more traditional views. It's a delicate balance between respecting individual beliefs and fostering an inclusive community.
Well, I want to let you know something. Not everything comes from the Catholic Church. Some things come from your own heart. Your own heart. You know what comes from your own heart? And I'm not Catholic, by the way, just so you know. You know what comes from your own heart? Blood? Blood comes from your heart. That's right. Blood comes from your heart. But you know when people say, do you sing with your whole heart? What do you think they mean?
They're talking shit. It's only blood. Comes from your heart.
Only blood. So when people say you sing from your heart, so what are they referring to?
Nothing.
So there's nothing. When someone plays from their heart, they're playing from nothing?
Let's try to sound like you mean it.
Like you mean it. Right, I like that. So when somebody sings from their heart, when someone plays a fiddle from their heart, they're singing like they mean it. So what is it that makes some people do some things that they don't mean? For instance, when people sing with an apathetic voice, like, but then somebody sings with their whole heart, why is it that some people don't sing with their whole heart? Why is it that some people do things without their whole heart?
I don't think anybody sings with their whole heart.
Explain that.
Because they're just doing it because they want to be heard. They want to show off.
They want to show off. Okay, so some people sing with more expression because they want to show off. Is anybody singing from a genuine heart? Does anybody do anything from a genuine place?
No.
There's something metaphorically, and I'm trying to get to the core of that because you just said something that added to the conversation. You're saying that nobody does anything from a pure motivation or a pure heart. That's where we left off. And I asked you, and I threw it back at you, are you doing anything? Because you said some people that express themselves, they don't really do it from a pure heart. They're doing it for attention. So I was asking you, are you here for attention, or do you do anything with a pure heart? Because we're trying to learn right now.
Yeah, I understand. But I'm just walking past.
Okay. With a pure heart.
With a heart that pumps blood.
Okay. He's walking by with a heart that pumps blood. All right, well, give him a big hand for walking with a heart that we don't know if it's a good motivation. We don't know if you're going off to do something good or bad. And just like this gentleman was saying, is that not everything is of a pure motivation, of a pure place. In fact, what he said rings something in my ear. I don't fully agree with what he said. I don't know if he was carrying that any further. But all of us do something with a reason or for a motivation. And there is some truth to what he said. Because as much as we want to go and do something and pursue something or make choices, there is always or sometimes things within that obscure a pure motivation, or things that take away from what would be pure. But I want to let you know that regardless of the side that you pick, when you reach a certain level of excellence, you reach a certain level of limitation. Because your bodies are limited. Your mind is limited. We may not use our entire mind. We may not use everything within our capability. But no matter if we did, we would still reach a limitation. And that limitation opens up the question: is there anything beyond my limit? Because as much as we can say, which side of the coin you choose, I have a pure heart, but I have a pure heart to a limit. I have a strong mind. I have perfection in my mind, but it's to a limit. Or you take the point of view that I have nothing inside of me that's perfect. I have nothing inside of me that is fully true. At the end of the day, it leads to the same place. Show that you're dependent. Your imperfections show that you need help. No matter which way you spin it, there is always something or someone that you need to make your life complete or to bring you to destination B. Everybody needs somebody sometime. Every single person, including the gentleman right there.
What happened to your bit about the limits?
The limits. What I was saying about the limits is you can have a pure heart to a point, to the limit.
You said you can get to the limit?
To the limit of your capacity.
Yeah, and then your answer. And then your answer is to go back to Bronze Age superstition?
No, it's saying that your limit requires something beyond you. So what is God to you?
Nothing.
Bronze Age superstition.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is greater than you? Anything?
There's lots of people greater than me.
Good.
Well,
so there you go. So that's my point, is that you might have somebody greater than you. You might call that God.
yeah, but that's not your point. You're trying to.
You don't know my point. Let me make my point.
No, you have been spending at least
5 minutes.
At least 15 minutes here.
Sure.
Talking about your point. Most of which is just random stuff, but
Is it?
actually, you know, meaningless stuff.
How is it meaningless?
Well, because it's this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. And then, but it's all to do with God. And the God is the Bronze Age superstition.
Okay. You might feel that way, but I'm going to tell you something. Regardless of how you feel about God or the character that's in the Bible, you still have a limit. And if there's nothing pure inside yourself, you still need help, regardless of which way you spin it. So if you need,
no such thing as pure.
Okay, well, there's no such thing as pure.
Yeah.
Tainted.
Yeah, exactly.
So is it possible to have untainted things in this world, or is everything tainted?
Well, you asked me about my thoughts, and my thoughts are not adulterated. They are unadulterated because they're my thoughts. They come from within my head.
So they're pure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going around. So initially you said there's nothing, you can't have pure thoughts. You can't. Now you're saying you have pure thoughts. They're unadulterated. So that's my point. That's the point I was trying to make. So even if you had pure thoughts, your thoughts reach a limit. Would you agree?
Well, not a limit.
So you think that you never need help or assistance from anybody else or anything else in your entire life?
Not within my head. I don't, personally.
So you don't go to the grocery store to eat food?
Not within my head, no.
Okay, no, we've taken it out of your head into reality now, because now we're dealing with impure things. Originally you were saying there was nothing pure. Now you are saying there is pure. So what I'm saying is now, if you have pure thoughts, or there's something pure that exists, even the purity that you have has a limit.
In the context of what you were saying about pure, there is no such thing as pure thoughts in terms of that we need a God to come against it.
Okay, you're attaching God here, but we're not even there yet.
Oh no, you are very much there.
I'm always there. I know there's a God. I don't deny God.
Yeah.
It's you that denies God.
Yeah.
So we're now dealing with this concept of pure and impure. So you said you can have pure thoughts, correct?
Well, why has that got anything to do with whether there's a God or not?
Well, you keep bringing up God. It seems like you have a God complex inside. There's something you're wrestling with. Because I didn't bring up God.
Why are you here? Why are you?
You know why I'm here?
Why are you standing
I'm
here?
going to preach what I usually preach, but you have a God complex because it's you keep bringing it up in your heart. So that means your thoughts either are contaminated with God, because every time you think, the thing comes out of your mouth is God.
Do you
keep
remember
saying God, 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 God,
do
God.
you remember?
Hey,
no,
hey,
I didn't. I haven't
why
said
do you
God,
keep
God,
bringing
God.
up God?
I've only mentioned God twice. Do you remember how this whole thing started?
I asked you about your heart.
No.
I said, can you sing from the heart?
That was the first thing. But then the second thing was about superstitious Bronze Age stuff.
No, you brought that up. You just said the first thing that I said was about your heart. Was it the first or the second?
No, the first time you came to me, you asked me about whatever it was. The second time you came to me was when I challenged you, saying it is Bronze Age superstition.
No, what you said to me, if you want to clear, because it's all on live stream and it's posted right now, is you talked about the heart. I talked about the heart. And I said, do you know the difference between someone who sings with their heart or not? And you said the heart is simply something that pumps blood. That's it. That was you. And then I started sharing about whether someone has a pure heart or an impure heart. And then you brought up God.
No, that was the first time you came. And then the second time you came back to me was when I said that's Bronze Age superstition.
Okay, so let's go back to what I'm saying about pure and impure. You need some, you know, well, we don't have to go, but I will go. I'm going to go there because, you know why I'm going to go there? Because you're contradicting your own existence. Because you're telling me that you don't need anything. in your life.
No, I'm not telling you.
So you do need something else outside of yourself, always. It requires you to be in relationship with others, and especially to be humble, because you always have something that is higher than you. That's life.
No, not necessarily. What's higher? What's higher?
Knowledge. You don't know everything. That's higher than you. Wisdom. You don't know all things.
Knowledge being higher, that's not even a concept.
Knowledge is not a concept.
Knowledge as being higher is not a concept. That's just something you've invented.
Well, when you go to university, what do they say? You go to university to get higher knowledge.
It's not higher than me. I mean, what does that even mean? You're just coming up with like stupid sentences.
How is that coming up with super sentences? When you're in grade 1, there's a higher grade. Grade 2, grade 3. That is higher in numerical.
That's not the same as saying that there is a higher thing than people being just want to move it on to something, but actually there was no answer.
No, I think right now is the Bible says something, and I'm just going to be point blank. We're okay to be point blank?
Yes.
The Bible says it's the fool that says in their heart there is no God. It's a fool.
Yeah.
Because everything I'm saying right now, and I'm hearing your responses, it's foolish. You can't acknowledge something higher than something lower. You can't acknowledge something more complicated than the more simple. You can't acknowledge some people are better than something that is worse. I mean, these are all synonyms of the same thing. It's not nonsense. What's nonsense is your responses.
No.
That's nonsense. Because you can't. Can you just acknowledge that there's people better than you? Can you say that?
Yes, of course.
Absolutely. Can you acknowledge that you need other people in your life? Yes or no?
I don't need a God in my life.
No one's talking about God. Why can't you answer simply? Do you ever need anybody else other than you?
Well, you don't ask questions that are actually what you're here for.
Okay, guys. Look. Maybe it's me. I'm from Canada.
It is you.
All right.
It is you.
Am I?
Religion.
Okay, that's fine. You don't like religion. That's cool. Am I being clear with my words or unclear? If you say clear, put up your hand if I'm being clear. If I'm being unclear, put up your hand. So everybody, hold on.
You're very clear.
No. Hold on a second. Some things you don't know. You don't know much. You don't know that there's a higher knowledge versus a lower knowledge. You don't know that there's a greater mathematics than a lesser mathematics. There's complexity to things.
There's not a higher knowledge. There's just knowledge or less of it. It's not a height.
Are there higher grades?
There are higher grades in the context of examinations.
Absolutely. Is there advanced levels of English versus English that is more for children that maybe they don't understand grammar?
What is the point of that question?
The point I'm trying to make, like I said from the beginning, is everybody has limitations, which requires you to depend on something else outside yourself to get higher, to get further in life.
There's your problem.
You don't agree with that? You think you have no limitations?
That's not what I said.
So tell me what my problem is.
Your problem is you're depending, as my initial point was, on Bronze Age superstition to try and address your limits.
Whether you think what I believe is Bronze Age or not, we're in 2022 and you can't answer Bronze Age questions.
Yes,
like higher and lower, complexity versus simple. So you can mock what I believe, but I'm still trying to understand what you believe. Do you believe that there's anybody better than you, that you need anybody other than you in life?
I can believe something when somebody tells me that it was impossible, that there was a flood that wiped out the whole of the people, and that Noah lived to 900 years old. I can believe that that is ridiculous.
But do you notice something right now? You have a God complex. All your thoughts are trying to disprove the Bible, and you can't answer my simple questions. My question wasn't about the Bible. My question wasn't about Noah. My question wasn't about whether someone lived 900 years ago. My question was whether you in 2022 think that you ever need somebody beyond yourself, or anybody's better than you. Not Noah, you. Is there anybody better than you in life? Do you need anybody in life? You. Answer the question.
So do you believe in knowing?
You see this? Do you see the struggle that you have?
It's not a struggle.
You can't answer. You know what it is? There's a block in your
I've
mind.
answered all your questions.
Just one question you didn't ask. Do you need anybody in your life? Yes or no? Not Noah. Not whether I believe about Noah. Do you need anybody other than you in your life?
I don't need to answer that question because actually those are all the things that you want to project.
I got you.
But actually, you know, you're just totally ignoring the ludicrousy of religion. Adam and Eve, Noah, flipping people living inside whales, and Daniel in the den. I mean, it's just absolute utter nonsense. And for you to stand and tell these people, oh, you have a limit, but it's going to be solved if you believe in this God who, you know, who was invented 4,000 years ago.
Do you realize something? That everything you're saying, I didn't say, you said. That means that your mind is struggling with God. You have a struggle.
Yes.
You are wrestling.
I definitely struggle with God. It's ludicrous.
Gotcha. That's why you can't answer these questions. You can't get
I
from...
have answered all of your questions.
Okay, no, you didn't answer all my questions. Did he? Okay, guys, if you think... Except one, which you just said you didn't want to answer.
I didn't answer your questions because they're meaningless.
So wait, did you hear that? I answered all your questions, but I didn't answer all your questions. This is like flip-sided on both sides. I think you're confused, sir.
I'm not.
Well, which one is it? Did you answer all my questions, or you did not answer all my questions? Which one is it?
Well, your questions are vague.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, my question's vague. Okay, so...
Your questions are vague. Why don't you just tackle the whole issue of religion instead of weird, you know, questions about, you know, how are you thinking about stuff? Why don't you ask the questions about Noah, about Adam and Eve, about Daniel living in a friggin' den or whoever was in the whale and all that stuff.
Okay, no problem. Well, Daniel was in the lion's den, and it has been known that people have tamed lions and have been around lions in the past, so it's not impossible for lions and human beings to live in the same place. That's answer number one. Answer number two. Is that an answer?
That's not an answer because...
So why was it? I've answered your questions. When are you going to answer mine?
No, because that wasn't actually the point of the Bible story.
No, the point of the Bible story, you want to go there now, the point of the Bible story is the sovereign hand of God. God does have power, whether you agree with you and me or not. You're living because of the power of God.
We need open conversations within our community. It's possible to hold different views while maintaining respect and love for one another in the ever-evolving landscape of cancel culture. It's crucial to recognize the diversity of opinions within any community, including the Christian community. Navigating these conversations requires a delicate balance between respecting individual beliefs and fostering understanding. Let's continue to engage in open dialogue, recognizing that it's through understanding that we build bridges and find common ground. Andrew Tate's philosophy centers around what he perceives as a return to traditional values, particularly in the realm of masculinity. He believes in fostering a type of masculinity that is strong, caring, and respectful of women.
I didn't really want children too heavily until my dad died. When my dad died, I felt like my period of being a student was over and it was time to become a teacher. And then I understood that if I'm going to teach people, that's important, but even better to teach my own lineage and bloodline.
Guess who it is? You missed me? Yeah. Oh, have you missed me? Yeah. Have you been good? Yeah. Are you lying? Are you lying or telling the truth? No. No, you're not lying. You've been good? Give me a kiss.
The degree of patience that a mother has with a toddler is incredible. They will sit there for 12 hours and listen to garbage music and play garbage iPad games and deal with the endless demands of this little human that doesn't understand other people have feelings. So this little toddler is effectively a psychopath that only thinks about itself.
And the level of patience they show is incredible. I don't think men can do it. I don't think a man can show that much endless patience. And I don't think we should, because we should be the disciplinarians. I was always the one who said, no, enough. No more Peppa Pig. It's been 6 hours, no. And if you want to cry, you can cry, but it ain't going back on. I don't care. I was that guy. But the mothers will just tolerate and tolerate, which is why our jobs are so different, but also so equally important, because patience is important. And just witnessing the level of patience was mind-bending to me. I was like, I don't know how you... And the woman's still happy and still smiling. Truly incredible.
You want to learn? Yeah. Okay, let's go. You ready to learn to play chess?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna listen?
You gonna listen? And pay attention?
Yeah.
Turn around. Say it. What is this?
Pawn.
Pawn. This is what most people in life are. Pawns. This is called a knight.
Yeah, knight.
A knight, like a horse, you see?
Yeah, like a horse.
This is a bishop. Bishop. Ready? We're going to test you, so you better be paying attention, because you're going to get tested. This is a queen.
Yeah, queen.
You know what a queen is, don't you?
Yeah.
Good. And this is a king.
King.
Like daddy.
Yeah, like daddy.
Daddy.
Like Daddy Pig.
Daddy Pig, okay.
Daddy Pig and Peppa Dog.
Okay, Daddy Pig and Peppa Pig, you're right. Okay.
I think a father needs to be a superhero. I think a father needs to be, to a degree, emulated. I think a father needs to be absolutely and utterly respected. I don't think a father should be a second mother. Mothers can change diapers and make bottles. I've never changed a diaper in my life, never made a bottle in my life, never done any of them things. I don't get up at night. It's not my job. My job is to be somebody who the entire family, both the mother and the child, looks at and really truly believes is a superhero. And I feel like I do that fantastically. And I think to a degree you have to sacrifice part of your time with your kids to be a superhero. You can't be a superhero if you're home all day changing diapers and playing with the baby. You have to go out, do something epic and come home and tell that story. You have to go away to war and come back with stories of war. And there's been times where I've missed my children desperately and I haven't been with them as much as I would have liked to have been. But I've always come back with a story worthwhile. I've always come back with gold for the family. I've always come back with a carcass for everyone to eat from. So I feel like as soon as you're a father, you have a responsibility to be a better person, but also be a more interesting and more capable person. There's a lot of fathers out here who are very boring people, very uninteresting, average, mundane people. And I don't see how you can raise a child to be exceptional unless they look at you and understand that you're exceptional.
What is your powers?
Is this me?
Yeah, your superhero powers. Put it on.
Okay.
Are you stronger than Daddy now or no?
I am stronger.
Are you?
Yeah, I can just stuff, Mom. I can just,
Who told you to do that?
I got a robot.
You got a robot?
Yeah.
Well, who told you to do that?
I'm Tristan.
Tristan?
Yeah.
Go hit him. Go hit Tristan. What do you mean no? Go hit Tristan. Why no? You'll hit Daddy, but you won't hit Tristan. Why? Oh, so you don't want to hit Tristan. Great.
I will also say that having children made me understand how heinous abortion is. You'll always find a way. You'll find food. No one's starving to death, not in the Western world. You'll find food. And you'll never regret having the child when the child is there. And I think everyone who has kids wish they started earlier. But God has a plan and God decides when the best time is. But it's never too early to have children. I actually think, I used to be super against teenage pregnancy. I think you're an idiot if you got pregnant as a teenager. But depending on the particular circumstance, I mean, if you're financially secure, if you're fiscally secure, if you're from a rich family or the man who got you pregnant is particularly rich, and you don't have to worry about money, a woman should have kids as early as she wants. I think it's the most beautiful thing a woman can possibly do. In fact, only a few generations ago, I think everyone had kids before they were 22, 23. It was pretty normal. So I would encourage everyone to strongly understand that abortion is never the answer and children are truly beautiful and they're innocent. and that the best way to be a good parent is to be a good person. It's a great way to level up. There's a lot of things, if you can't do them for yourself, at least do them for your kids. And that you take a vested interest in the world and your community more when you have children which are growing up in it. But all in all, it's been a beautiful experience bestowed upon me by God, and truly, children are a miracle. I really believe children are a miracle.
Andrew Tate has been vocal about what he sees as an attack on free speech and the ability to express differing opinions without fear of repercussion.
Faster than you can believe. Ban.
So
the
it wasn't
Matrix.
just the socials.
Oh no, the Matrix presses a button, my friend,
Yeah.
and every app on your phone stops working. Coordinate effort all at once. Every single one of them just goes no. They've done it all. They've run out of ammo, and I'm still alive. And now they're like, click, shit. What else are they gonna do? What are they gonna?
We're doing all right, aren't we? Doing all right. We survived jail, didn't we? Sure. All right, we're doing okay. We're at home arrest. Cool. Life's been worse, hasn't it? We've been poor. We've been hungry. We've been hurt. We're doing all right. We've got millions of dollars. We're strong. We're prosperous. We've got each other. And we've always got each other. You've always got my back. I've always got your back, right? There's nothing you can ever do that I don't have your back on, right? We are each other's wingman. We are each other's right hand man. And nothing in the world can ever stop us.
The clash between Andrew Tate's philosophy and the values promoted by the broader society, particularly regarding gender roles and sexual identity, highlights the ongoing tension between tradition. In the midst of these cultural conversations, the key lies in fostering open dialogue. Understanding different perspectives allows us to bridge gaps, find common ground, and move forward as a society that respects the diversity of its members. Thank you for joining this exploration of Andrew Tate's philosophy in the context of contemporary cultural dialogues. Remember, the beauty of dialogue lies in its ability to shape a better, more understanding world.
The world has become exceptionally easy for a lot of men. It used to be a different place. Most men were cannon fodder. Most of us would have ended up in wars, dying for fucking no reason.
Damn.
Now we don't have to do that. Because we don't have to do that, men think it's okay to just become comfortable now. You're not supposed to be comfortable. You were never evolved to be comfortable. You're supposed to be uncomfortable.
Right.
And if you make yourself uncomfortable constructively, it's very easy to be anything you want. I find it amazing that people will sit there and spend all their time upgrading that character, making as much money as they can, getting the best guns, getting strong, getting some hoes, meeting important people, getting the best car. They'll do all that in a game, but they won't do it in real life. I find that incredible. My life is GTA. I don't need to play a game for GTA. If I want a gun, I'll fucking buy it. If I want a car, I'll fucking buy it. I want a bitch, I'll get her. It's me. I am GTA. I don't see why people play the games. They play the games because they're scared of loss. Because if you die in the game, you get another chance. If you lose in the game, you get another chance. In life, you get one shot.
Damn, that's...
But if you get some balls, that's what life is as a game. That's what life is as a man. This is one big video game. You get to upgrade your character. You're not born with any value. All these women that you just put me on with are born with value. They're pretty already. They're gorgeous already. They're good looking enough. Even if they're a 5, someone's going to give a shit they exist because someone wants to fuck them. As a man, if you don't make yourself valuable, you have no value. You have to get up and do it. Just like a video game, you start with fucking 0. You have to decide if you want to complete it. You have to upgrade your character. So I find it amazing that men are going to play video games and fuck about and waste their time instead of upgrading their character. Everyone knows what to do. You know what you have to do.
You're right.
If you had become the most dangerous, intelligent, respectable man on the planet, you know you're supposed to go to the gym. You know you're supposed to train, learn how to fight. You know all these things. You don't do them. That's your decision. It's your prerogative. I didn't make that choice. I made the choice to do it all. I decided all. And every single man watching this can do the exact same thing, which is why I have very little pity when I do these streams and people think I'm arrogant or I'm rude to people, or even to you earlier when I was making jokes and I've been joking with the girls.
You're
saying
good,
drink the
bro.
soy latte.
I'm not, yeah.
Of course, and I know we're only joking, right? But the point is, that's a conscious decision you made. I would never make fun of someone who hasn't got a choice. I wouldn't make fun of someone born with one
I
arm.
have a choice, though.
But if you've made a fucking decision to be less than you should be, then I believe you should be mocked for that decision.
I agree. I feel like,
that.
yeah, because like you're not living up to your full potential. Like it's your choice to basically not live up to your full potential.
Completely. And me as a man, when I put myself through hell, when I have had such exacting, such stringent standards for myself, why would I then have less exacting, stringent standards on the people I meet?
Damn.
Why would I put myself through hell to be me and then meet someone who didn't put themselves through hell and then treat them like my equal? No, fuck you. I suffered when you didn't, so you're not my equal because you decided not to suffer. You have enjoyed comfort when I haven't, and that's fine, but don't expect me to look at you as my equal because you're not.
A lot of friends around me, they're like good friends. Don't get me wrong, like they're real friends, like lazy, and they have so much potential. Like they can be big, they can be getting rich, all this shit, bro. But like they choose not to. So, but it's really hard because I love them. They're my friends, and I came up with these guys, and they're so entertaining. I love them. They're my brothers, but
I understand. When I tell people that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Everyone agrees. They go, yeah, that's probably true. The 5 people you spend the most time with, that's what you're gonna end up like. They say, yeah, that's true. And then they continue to hang around with people who they don't want to be. Why? There has to be a point. There has to be a point where you sit and go, okay, you're my friends, etc., etc. I love you guys. Yeah, we can talk, whatever. But I'm on a different life path. You have to leave some people behind. You wouldn't want to be, if you were to come hang out with me and you were in a room with me and my 5 friends, you'd feel self-conscious.
You're right.
You don't feel self with your friends.
Because you only you only surround yourself around people that are on like your level of like.
I'm with killers. I'm with killers. We're fucking monsters. If you were to come hang around with me and my crew, you would be self-conscious, and that self-consciousness would motivate you, or they would certainly instill the discipline required for you to change. You don't feel self-conscious amongst your peers. That's why you don't change. If you were to get in a room and you're the only person who ain't a fucking monster, you'd want to become a monster. That's life. That's humanity. So I say this to people all the time. If you know you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with, why you hang around with people you don't want to be? That's why I live in a competitive environment. I live with my brother, my cousin. I live with men. We have a big house. We could all afford fucking 10 houses each. We live together on purpose. If my brother does 500 push-ups, I ain't gonna be the bitch at the house. I ain't gonna not do them.
Right.
Best version of me that could possibly ever exist. I know that God is proud of me. There's nothing that God hates more than sloth and laziness. If God were to create a man and that man were to sit around and do fuck all, God will frown upon you. It's why you're never lucky. If you're listening to this and you think I'm never lucky, I'll tell you why, because God dislikes you because you're fucking lazy. Start to work. Start to show God the beauty of his own creations. You'd be amazed how lucky you'll become. Wow. God is unhappy with these people. And inside their hearts, they're unhappy. We talk about depression, anxiety, all those things you mentioned earlier on this podcast. That comes from self-loathing. You loathe your own weakness. You loathe your own laziness. This is what all of these things are. I don't feel depression. How can I feel depression when I'm the most powerful version of me that I could ever fucking be? How can I feel depression when I could squeeze my own hand hard enough to break my own bones? How can I feel depression when I've smashed and destroyed 68 people's faces in front of me? Men who thought they could test me in fair combat. How can I feel depressed? It's impossible. Do you understand?
Bro, you got like the best fucking mentality, like brain, like ethic I've ever seen in my fucking life. And this is my motivation. If I sit around like a fat, mopey piece of shit, it's not really showing them anything. But if on the side and I'm currently giving updates and stuff about what I'm doing in the gym and I'm progressing, it's gonna motivate people. Because they're gonna be like, oh wow, Aiden has such a shitty mindset and he was laying around eating fucking chips all day and drinking soda. Fuck that. It's actually wrong with me for them, because I have an audience who watches me. It's wrong with me to them if I don't become the best version of myself.
Now you are starting to understand.
Because no, it's selfish. It is.
It's selfish.
It is. Because think about it like this. I have a lot of eyes on me for a reason, right?
Correct.
It's not just because.
Correct.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
I have to provide significance in some type of way. And it starts with making myself better.
Absolutely. That's how you build a legacy.
I figured it out, bro.
That's how you build a legacy.
I chilled my body. I actually figured this out, bro.
Congratulations. I look forward to your journey.